So winter is slowly approaching us and it is getting pretty cold outside. So I decided I'd show you guys how I make my Southwest chili. I'm starting off with 2 tablespoons of olive oil in my pot and let that get very hot. And to that, I'm going to add 1 diced onion and I'm going to let that cook for about 45 minutes until the onions get nice and soft. And then once you get to that stage, you're going to add 3 cloves of garlic. If you're like me, you can add a little bit more if you love it. And you're going to cook that for another minute or two until the garlic gets nice and soft. And then here I'm adding my ground beef, 1.5 pounds. You can add ground turkey, ground chicken, whatever you like. Just make sure it's fully cooked. And then I'm adding 1 can, 28 ounce of crushed tomatoes. And then I'm adding my pinto beans and black beans, 30 ounces. You can use whatever beans you like. Then I'm adding 14.5 ounce cans of diced tomato and 15 ounces of corn that I sauteed to get nice and brown. Add a little more flavor to it. Gonna mix it up really well and get everything all incorporated. And then here I am adding my spices. That is going to be 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, 1 to 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of chipotle chili powder, and 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And then here I also added, I had some frozen green chilies that were chopped. And it's okay if you add it frozen because it'll warm up and loosen into the chili anyways. And then I also added a 1/2 cup of water into my crushed tomato can to get all the extra juices out of there. And here I'm adding salt. Now, when it comes to salt, you add as much or as little as you like. I added probably about a teaspoon and a half full, and give it another good mix until everything is fully incorporated. And I decided that I wanted to add some onion powder and garlic powder. I probably added about 1.5 tablespoons garlic powder and 1.5 tablespoons of onion powder. And I also added a little more cumin. I can't remember if I said to add cumin in the beginning, but I added 2 tablespoons in the beginning, and then I added about another tablespoon after that because I really like cumin. So now you're just going to mix everything up and you're going to simmer for about an hour.